Southern sports for the culture.
I'm here with the family.
Bryce, XXV, Double I,
Rome,
D-Melo,
Gruff Lion.
T-Boogie, man.
Just the greatest sports show on the planet. La Familia. Hope y'all ready for a ride.
Can't wait to hear what you guys got to say.
you know what it is, man. Your favorite sports show on the planet. Sports for the culture. I'm tonight's host, your boy Young Rome 22 on all platforms as always. We got a great show for you guys tonight, man. So I'm gonna let the fellas introduce themselves real quick, and then I'll let you know the rundown of the topics. I'm gonna start with a man to the left. Introduce yourself.
What up, man? Scruff Line, Good Ass Sports. You know what time it is. Scruff Line, a.k.a. Rome's nemesis. You know what time of the year it is. You feel me? It's drag Rome season, bro. Because my man Rome only watches the local news. He only deals with the local honey and produce, local newspaper, and the local I don't even know what the it's called, but you know what I'm saying. He had all the local establishments.
Did you even say who you are?
I did. That was the first thing I did. Bro.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear that through all the hate. He started to show off with a bunch of shade, bunch of hate throwing. But typical of a Philly fan. As typical of a Philly fan. It's NFL season, so it's heating up here on gas. You got a lot of NFC East fans out here. You see me in the Commanders gear for all those out there on YouTube. But that's why the Phillies fans talking shit, because he's hating on us. I'm gonna let my fellow Commander fan down there introduce himself next. Go ahead and let the people know who you are.
Hey, Rome, I love you, my boy. But since we ragging on Rome today, I gotta pile on, man. My man Rome, man, we in the Dynasty League. That boy Rome got 6 Commanders on his team. I'm like, hold up, bro. Something's going on, man. My man is local to the core, but I guess I can't hate too much. I'm a Commanders fan myself, as he said, man. At Bryce XXV double I, aka Mr. Big Leaguer, aka the last Commander. Well, me and Rome, the last Commanders, man. It feels like right now my Commanders are catching a lot of hate, man. I've been looking at the Twitter and this joint practice with the Ravens, and all the things I'm hearing are good, but all the tweets I'm seeing is like they just shitting on us with the videos, man. So hey, as one of the last Commanders, I look forward to this season and us redeeming ourselves, man.
Hey, so first of all, this guy, let's get to this fantasy thing real quick. They're going to tell me I'm local because I got 6 Commanders. This is coming from a guy who's got 4 Commanders, 2 less than me on the same size roster, right? And then we could talk about the training camp, the joint practices. From what I'm seeing, the Commanders are doing great. There was a bunch of fights at the practice, but it does look like the Ravens have a little bit more highlights. So that's always fun. But I also was peeping the Eagles joint practice with the Browns. A lot of highlights from your boy Deshaun Watson over there too, Scruff. So I mean, which y'all want to jump into first? Y'all want to talk a little camp practices, or y'all want to start off with this fantasy football?
Now, let's jump into some dynasty fantasy football, man. Because I feel like if you're a fantasy football head like we all are, if you really into fantasy football, you're not in the dynasty league, you're selling yourself short. That's like playing Madden and only doing play now. You know what I'm saying? Like if you on Madden, all you do is play now. You're not really on Madden. You're not doing that connected franchise. You're not really doing it. So I feel like if you're a real fantasy football person, you got to be in a dynasty league, and it really tests your knowledge of football and how good of a GM you may actually be in real life. That's how you feeling about this league.
Yeah, I totally agree, bro. Because you know what I'm saying, you gotta stash them. You gotta have some project guys. You gotta pick them while they still young, and you don't never know who gonna be the top dog. You know what I'm saying, especially with the rookies. Especially at receiver.
Them drafts be mattering a lot, boy. Like every year and I feel like in the dynasty league, you have to at least hit. It's like the league. It's like the NFL. Like you have to hit, I'd say, on 2 draft picks, minimum 1. You got to hit on 1 draft pick, but you really got to hit on 2 draft picks every single year to keep your team churning, man. Or you can take the other route, like some people in our league have done, and just trade all your first rounders trade all your second rounders, you know what I mean, and just try to continue to build that way. So there's a couple different ways you can take it, but yeah, you got to know how to build a roster, man.
Well, let's talk strategy in this thing then. Let me ask this question. What's the best way you think to build your roster in the Dynasty League? Is it smarter, like you just said, to try to hit in the draft each year? Or are you better off trading those picks, maybe trying to hit some waiver wire guys? Like what's the best way to go about it in a Dynasty League, in y'all's opinion?
See, if Scruff wasn't in this conversation, I'd be honest. But Scruff the type of dude. If you ask me what my sleepers is, I'll tell you what one of my sleepers is. He'll be drafting next week in the league here with me. All right, I'm trying to tell you how this guy goes. All right,
he ain't asked for no names, bro. He was trying to get into strategy.
I'm gonna give my strategy. You'll start using my damn strategy.
I'll tell you what. I'm not sure to share my strategy, bro. I'll be happy to share my strategy. I'll tell you what. You can't just get. Yeah, all right. I got career chips up there. I'm one of the storied franchises in that league. You know what I'm saying? We'll put some respect on it. Nah, but really though, you gotta be looking at your waiver wire at all the time. And if you ain't on the waiver wire, you bugging out. Because like you can find good players on the waiver wire all the time. People always looking for that unknown commodity. And it happens a lot in the NFL, especially at running back. So you gotta watch the waiver wire when it comes to that. But then you also gotta watch what is called, I call like almost like the reverse waiver wire, which is like when people pick up somebody on the waiver wire who they drop. And you pay attention to somebody like that, because they were obviously somebody that was rostered before. So you might have something right there, somebody might have just dropped. You might have just catch something. And of course you got hit on the rookies, man. You got hit on the rookies at least a couple every year. You know what I'm saying? Personally, I think this year I think I can hit on maybe like 4 picks this year. You know what I'm saying? Keep it a buck.
Okay, so I feel you, Scruff. You're saying basically one man's trash could be the next man's treasure. You got to pay attention to who gets dropped, because you're right. In a dynasty league, the waiver wire is super important, because a lot of the people that are on a roster are on a roster for a reason. So if that person's getting dropped, that might be your chance to you know what I mean, to scoop that 5th or 6th commander, Bryce. But
you
look,
wild boy, wrong.
I'll say this about dynasty leagues is you really got to be tapped in, right? And that's part of the reason I have so many commanders on my team, to be honest, is you got to know who you're getting, because a lot of it's a deep roster, you know what I mean? And specifically in the one that we're doing, we got defensive players on top of it. So it's a very deep roster, especially when people are holding on to good players, because it's a dynasty league. So you really got to be tapped in. And I would say dynasty leagues aren't for the casual fans. If you're a casual fan, I would stick to a regular fantasy league.
No, that's a good point, bro. That's a good point. Definitely not for the casuals. Damn, I hate to give away too much strategy. One thing I say, if y'all weren't in the league with me, I'd be so happy to give away strategy, bro, and help the people. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like I'm working against myself by doing this. But a couple of things I say you got to do, and another thing you got to be willing to do. First thing you got to do is you got to be tapped in with the actual NFL draft. You got to be tapped in with college football. You got to know some prospects, like, a little better than just the casual, like to Rome's point. I think that helps me a lot. I do the draft analyzing for gas, and that helps me a lot when it comes to the dynasty league. Another thing you got to do is you got to really have your eyes and ears open during training camp season. You know what I'm saying? Training camp season is huge. You got to, and then if you have the knowledge of players that are coming out, plus, you hear about who's shining in training camp, you put those 2 and 2 together, and you're destined to find a couple gems. I think, everybody knows about the first round picks usually. You know what I'm saying? You got to hit on your first round pick, but if you hit on a 5th or a 6th or a 7th round pick, usually it's only 6 or 7 rounds in dynasty. That's what puts you in a better position than everybody else. You know what I mean? So I say those things combined. And the last thing you got to be willing to do is you gotta be willing to move on from players on your team to upgrade and grab younger players, or maybe upgrade a position. For instance, this year with my first pick, I went ahead and grabbed Jahmyr Gibbs. In our dynasty league, the draft order is based off the previous year's standings. So first place gets the first pick. We don't reward mediocrity in the big league. But I had the 2nd overall pick, so I grabbed Jahmyr Gibbs. But then, I did a little trading. I got a nice little swap where I traded. I got a little older by trading T. Higgins for Keenan Allen, which I did get a little older in that regard. But in that trade, I was able to get an extra first-round pick by getting rid of T. Higgins and trade him to a guy that had Joe Burrow on his team. And I was able to get the 5th overall pick and Keenan Allen for T. Higgins. And with that pick, I took Jackson Smith and Jigba. So not only did I get possibly a better performer than T. Higgins this year, I was able to get Jackson Smith and Jigba, who I think will be the cream of the crop of this year's receivers class. I think he's the best receiver in this class. We'll see how that pans out. But if he ends up being that, then hey, I just kind of got a 2-for-1 and improve my team. So you got to be willing to move on from players and try to nab some picks from people who want a top guy if you got some top guys on your team. So you got to know when to move on. But you can't get fleeced. And I'll give Scruff credit. He's been good at fleecing people in the league. I'll give him that credit. He ain't been that good at drafting, but he's been good at fleecing. All right. Give you that.
All right. Shout out to Rome. I mean, you helped me get Lamar Jackson. You feel me? You ain't directly.
What is that done for you though? Where have your trades gotten you though? You know what I mean?
It positioned me in a good place. I traded.
I wouldn't say you're a Howie Roseman. I wouldn't say that.
Let the record show. I traded Sam Darnold and Lance Thomas for Kirk Cousins, and then I flipped Kirk Cousins.
Who the hell is Lance Thomas?
Logan Thomas. My bad.
Oh, all right.
For Kirk Cousins.
You definitely got one over on Rome. He saw Logan Thomas, was like, I need that commander on my side.
Well, you know what killed me with Logan Thomas is he got hurt right after that, bro. Scruff basically cursed him. The man's played like 5 games since him.
I sold him at his highest stock.
Yeah, it's not literally because he's not fucking played. It's been the same since.
I sold him at his highest stock. That's a major key with the dynasty leagues. I sold.
But you're not Scruff. You're not immune to the homerism, all right? Because I did get you. You wanted DeAndre Swift so bad, gave up Alvin Kamara in a 2nd-round pick. I appreciate you for that.
Because I subscribe to the mantra that availability is your number one ability. And Alvin Kamara, he getting suspended this year, and I was willing to ship Alvin Kamara for a younger commodity in DeAndre Swift.
Wait. So you're saying availability is your best ability, but you traded for DeAndre Swift? I'm a little confused.
Good point.
But nah, man, shout out to everybody that is in the in dynasty leagues, man. Definitely the way of the future. And this is really the only way I want to do fantasy football at this point. I mean, people are asking me to join leagues. I'm still joining them, of course, but like dynasty league is my preference at this point, man.
Yeah, no, I agree. This is the first dynasty league I've really been a part of, and it's dope. It's definitely, like I said, it's not for the casuals. So for all the hardcore football fans out there, if you're into the draft, you're watching college football, all that kind of stuff, then this is definitely for you. This is definitely more up your alley, and I think you'd enjoy it a little bit more. But there's nothing wrong with a good, regular fantasy league. So for all the casual fans out there, everybody loves football. So, I mean, this is another way to get you tapped into the game. So we also got the Gas League. We're going to be starting that back up soon. So for all the gasaholics out there, you know what I mean, we'll be doing that. We'll be giving that information out here soon. But yeah, man, let's keep it pushing, fellas. There's a couple other things we need to get into today. Let's start with the Colts, though. I'm kind of interested to get y'all's thoughts on this. There's a couple things going on in Indianapolis out of training camp. So we all know about the Jonathan Taylor situation, but let's start on a positive note because they did name Anthony Richardson as QB1. So what do y'all think about that? He was the 3rd QB picked out of this year's draft, and I believe he's the first. I don't know if they already said Bryce Young is going to be the starter in Carolina or not. I think they did, but I don't know who was first, who announced it first. But what do y'all think about Anthony Richardson being named QB1? Is it too soon? What's y'all thoughts on that? Go ahead, jump ball.
I think it's good. I mean, with a guy like Anthony Richardson, he needs reps. So, he didn't really get that many reps in Florida. So I think you're better off just getting him his reps, game action, rather than letting him sitting around because Gardner Minshew's not really that good, So it's not exactly in your best interest to be waiting, when it comes to Anthony Richardson. Now, like there might be some moments along the line where he's, struggling a little bit and having some growing pains, and I fully expect that. But you gotta let that man do what he gotta do. I don't see the Colts being very good either way. So they figure like, yeah, we're gonna suck. We might as well put our best guy out there and let him get some reps.
Yeah, I hear that. I don't foresee the Colts having a strong season one way or the other. But with that said, it might be better to protect the young QB. So Bryce, what are your thoughts on this?
I feel like you gotta go that route if you draft somebody top 5, especially if you trade up. Didn't they trade up for him? Or did they stand pat? I can't remember. But you go top 5 quarterback. You kind of gotta start him. You gotta see what he's got. Trial by fire, I feel like is the only way for a quarterback. I mean, you can sit and watch, but I don't know. I don't know how beneficial that'll be for a guy like Anthony Richardson. I think he's got to learn on the job. He needs that experience. A guy like Anthony Richardson who doesn't have a ton of college snaps, the first thing he needs is get experience under his belt. It's not like the Colts are destined for great things this year, even with another quarterback. You know what I mean? So I think this is the best move for them. I just hope they don't run my man into the ground. I did watch that first preseason game. I like what I saw. I think Anthony Richardson's got some rare talent. He's got ability to change arm angles, and that's a big thing in the NFL right now. If you can change that arm angle, get passes around blitzers, around rushers, and things like that. He's 6'4". I mean, he runs a 4.4 speed, can throw the length of the field damn near. I mean, like he's got all the intangibles you need for the quarterback. The thing that's lacking is that real-time game experience. I think you got to start him. I think it's a good move, and I think I don't see Anthony Richardson failing. I think he's too good of a runner to fail. I think if worst come to worst, you'll see a Jalen Hurts type of offense in his first year with Philly, or even a Cam Newton style offense. When he was with Carolina. The one thing that like I said, the one thing that scares me is that they run him into the ground and turn him into a pseudo running back. So I just hope that doesn't happen. But I like the move to start him. I think it's the only move, honestly.
All right, so let me ask you guys this, because I know we got a big show coming up, so I don't want to give away any spoilers. I don't want any Colts predictions just yet. But another quarterback we're going to talk about here in a second too is Trey Lance, right? Who the 49ers traded up for, drafted him top 5, and we see what's going on with his career right now. The Colts, in my opinion, and probably a lot of people's opinion, aren't the best organization. We see what's going on with Jonathan Taylor. Things are very rocky with that situation. That's probably their best offensive weapon right now. Many would agree. So do you guys think that you both said that it's good for Anthony Richardson to start because he should get reps, but do you think that this is the best situation for a young quarterback? And do you think that this is a place where he can see long-term growth or success?
I think every situation is different. I don't think the best situation for Bryce Young is also the best situation for Anthony Richardson. I think the best situation for Anthony Richardson was the Colts because it gives him the best time to get some playing time and figure out the game. I mean, get his game up under him. I think the best situation for Bryce Young was the Panthers because he had a solid system around him. He had a quarterback guy. He had a good, stable team around him. And I think the best situation for C.J. Stroud was the Texans because Texans really sucked. And, C.J. Stroud's going to be in the perfect position to do what he does. And so it's going to be an opportunity for him. So I think everybody's in the best situation for them. Even Stetson Bennett, I would say he's in the perfect situation for him. He's a guy that we know can play at a high level. We don't know if he can play at a high level at the NFL yet, but he's been slept on his whole career. And he's standing behind a guy like Matt Stafford, who last season couldn't stay healthy. So if that happens again, Stetson Bennett might be looking like the man. He might just step into a situation. So, I think all these quarterbacks are in a perfect situation, really.
I mean, I hear you on that last guy for sure. I think he could step in, Bennett, and his situation, I would say, is probably better than Anthony Richardson. I tend to lean towards Bryce in agreement with his comment about them running him into the ground. We all know the Colts had Andrew Luck at one point, a Hall of Fame talent, who wasn't even known as a running quarterback, and they never put anything around him to stabilize that roster or that team. So personally, I don't see how they're gonna do that with Anthony Richardson, or I don't feel comfortable in saying that that's what's gonna happen with Anthony Richardson. But Bryce, do you think that this will be a good situation for Richardson long term?
Hard to say, man. And you bring up a good point with Trey Lance. I feel like a good situation for a quarterback is being in a place that's not gonna like give up on you after your first fuck up. You know what I mean? And I think that's the key to quarterbacks growing and getting better. If they're gonna give up on you after your first screw up, it's like, all right, you know what I mean? Like kind of what happened with Trey Lance. You know what I'm saying? Like if there's a 6 foot quarterback with half the arm strength, half the athletic ability that steps in for Anthony Richardson after he gets hurt for one game, and they never put Anthony Richardson back in the game, then you're basically ending his career right there, and that's kind of what happened with Trey Lance. You know what I'm saying? I feel like as long as you got a team that's willing to go through the growing pains with you, then they can end up seeing the fruits of those of that. You know what I mean? It takes time, bro. It takes time. We've seen it over and over again now. It's not an overnight thing, bro. It's not an overnight thing when you're trying to get a franchise quarterback. One team I'll point to who's I got to admit they've done a hell of a job sticking with their guy, and they're starting to reap the fruits of that, is the Giants with Daniel Jones. You know what I mean? Like Daniel Jones has had fuck up after fuck up, bro. You know what I mean? Especially in his first couple seasons as Giants quarterback. But what did they do? They didn't give up on him. They kept trying to put pieces around him. They kept drafting offensive linemen for him. They kept drafting receivers, but they keep failing at that. But still, they keep drafting receivers. And, last year, Daniel Jones had a season worthy enough of him getting a contract. So I think if the Colts do that with Anthony Richardson, they're going to have a great player, bro. They're going to have a great player if they do that. The question is, will they be patient enough to do that, or will they give up on him after he, goes through a little adversity? That's yet to be seen. I think that's the hardest thing, not only for an organization, but it's even harder for a GM and a coach who could be on a ticking time bomb when it comes to their own job, right? So you got to have a coach that's either brand new, who's guaranteed 3 to 5 years of being there, or you got to have a coach who's certified, like someone who's tried and true, like a Tomlin, who can sit through it, who's already proven himself. You know what I mean? But I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I guess Indianapolis, who they hired as they coach? They got a new coach. Who they got? Who's the head coach right now?
Frank Reich or whatever. Yeah.
So they got Reich, and so he's been there for a couple seasons now, right?
Nah, y'all both wrong. It's Shane Steichen.
Oh, no, I'm thinking Carolina. I'm thinking Carolina.
I thought they had the dude from the Eagles. So that's the same.
Yeah, he went to Carolina.
That's the same dude that had Jalen Hurts.
The running offense with Hurts.
Right. So that's the same one that had Hurts. So maybe you imagine that guy's there for 3 to 5 years. As long as his job is safe, you got to imagine Anthony Richardson's is too, and they'll kind of be tied to each other. So I think that's a pretty good situation. But if you got a lame duck coach getting a first overall pick, that could be tragic. You know what I'm saying? So
who the Texans?
Yeah. Texans got D'Amico Ryans.
Oh, Ryan, yeah. Well, this will be interesting to come back to. We'll definitely have to put a bookmark in this and see what happens with Anthony Richardson down the road. Well, let me ask you this question real quick. Just off the cuff, who gets more wins this season? Bryce Young, CJ, or Anthony Richardson?
Bryce Young.
I'm going with Anthony Richardson. I think they got the best team. Bryce Young gonna have, I don't know. If that preseason any indication, I think it's gonna be tough sledding for them Panthers, boy.
I disagree. They're in the worst division, bro. They in the worst division. They're in the NFC South, right? They got the Falcons, who are starting Desmond Ridder. Then you got the Saints, who are starting Derek Carr, my bad.
Derek Carr's a proven quarterback.
Derek Carr is a decent quarterback. Yeah.
No, he's a good quarterback and he's proven.
And then Tampa Bay, who's starting Baker Mayfield. They're destined for a top 5 pick.
I think the NFC South is going to be one of the sleeper divisions this year. I think that's going to be a battle to see who wins that division. But I just don't see. All right, let's put it like this, bro. When the Bengals got Joe Burrow, guess who they ended up with the next year? Jamar Chase. All right. It ain't all peachy just because you get you a top quarterback. You know, like we could see the Panthers in line to get Marvin Harrison Jr. next year. All right, that's all I'm saying, bro.
Yeah, that's true, but
Wouldn't surprise me.
I also think that they got a pretty good young defense. I also think that they got a pretty good running back. You know,
this will definitely be a fun season because all three of these quarterbacks will play head to head. Two of them in the same division, and I'm pretty sure the Panthers play both these teams this year. So we'll get to see some live action from all these guys this season.
Yep.
I got my money on Anthony Richardson though. If I had to pick offensive rookie of the year this season, I'd put my money on Anthony Richardson because he's gonna get them. He's gonna get them.
That's different than the wins question. So I do think Richardson might have the better stat sheet, but I think Bryce Young will have more wins.
We'll see. All right, let's keep it pushing though, man. We talked about it a little bit. Let's jump into it though, man. Trey Lance and the 49ers, right? So as we all know, Brock Purdy took over last season after Jimmy went down, after Trey went down, yada, yada, yada. Seems like every year 49ers quarterback, whoever's supposed to start, goes down. So maybe that's not the position you want to be in August. Maybe you don't want to be QB1 right now if you're in the Bay Area. But I'm interested to get y'all's thoughts on this, man. Our resident 49ers fans not here, T-Boogie. But I want to know what y'all think about this Brock Purdy, Trey Lance situation. Obviously, the 49ers traded up for Lance, got him super early, and Brock Purdy took over and led them to the NFC Championship before he got hurt as well. So what would you guys do? We talked a lot about being a GM. If you're in this situation, you got a guy like Trey Lance whose upside is crazy, and you traded up for him, but Brock Purdy, who's kind of earned the right to be your starter heading into the season, what would you guys do if you were in John Lynch's shoes? I'll start with Bryce.
Yeah, man. The 49ers are an interesting case because like they had no business ever picking that high to begin with. You know what I'm saying? Like they were a playoff caliber team when they picked that high.
They traded up, remember?
Oh yeah. That's facts. But like my point is they had no business picking that high, and they went and got a quarterback with that pick. So it's like, you know, you need that quarterback to step in and play well right away. You know what I mean? Like you have a team that's ready to go win, but you have a quarterback that needs to grow. And those things are like oil and water. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't mesh, bro. It's not going to mesh ever. So they're an interesting case study. And to my point earlier, that's one situation a young quarterback with potential does not want to be in. You don't want to be on a team that has playoff aspirations off the rip. And that's what Trey Lance got caught in, you know. So he lost his job to a quarterback who's not as talented as him, you know, but who's more experienced than him, who has way more snaps, probably twice as many snaps in playing football as Trey Lance has. Just playing football from high school through college, he probably has twice as many snaps. And when you have that situation, bro, it's just an experience thing. You can see Trey. I mean, I just finished watching the preseason snaps from Trey Lance, and you can just see, bro, his processing just doesn't process it as quickly yet. But that shit takes time, man. And the 49ers don't have that time to waste on Trey Lance. It wouldn't shock me if Trey Lance ends up getting cut, bro. It wouldn't shock me if they end up cutting Trey Lance before the season and say we're going with Purdy and Darnold, and that's all we need. Like, I wouldn't be totally, I wouldn't be shocked, bro. And then, yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, I'm just saying cutting him is crazy after you traded up for him. If I'm a 49ers fan, which I'm not, I would be pretty outraged if we traded up for a guy and then cut him 3 seasons in.
Bro, if it's one coach coaching tree I know, it's the Shanahans, bro. They don't give a damn. If you're not fitting in their program, they will cut bait, boy. They will cut bait so fast, I'm trying to tell you. And it wouldn't shock me. I'm not saying they're going to, but if it comes out he gets cut, just know that the good mister called it. Maybe it won't be before this season, but if he gets cut after this season, bruh, who would be shocked? Why would I be shocked about that? He's not fitting into their program, and part of it is their fault. Part of it's on him. I'm not going to, it's not like he gets no blame. He hasn't caught on quickly, but they should have expected that. And I think it goes back to the time they made that pick when they really wanted Mac Jones. We remember when that report came out, how badly they wanted Mac Jones. They wanted the guy that was more accustomed. The guy that was more experienced at the end of the day. And Trey Lance is not experienced in NFL style offense. And it's taking more time than I think Kyle Shanahan, the genius, ever envisioned. So
let me speak on this real quick, man. Let me start off by saying that, you don't double down on a bad decision, right? You don't double down on a bad decision because of how much the decision costs you. That's never sound logic. I'll explain. So let's say you spent $100 for, a burger. And the burger wasn't good. It wasn't nutritious. It didn't taste good. None of the above. You know what I'm saying? But then, the next year or the next day, when you had an opportunity to redeem yourself for your bad decisions of the year before or the day before, you chose to get yourself a nice salad, and you got it from the grocery store. You built it up. It only cost you $5. You don't need to double down on the decision. You made a great decision there to get the salad, and you got it at a value. So keep going and making good decisions like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Continue to water the plant that is feeding you. You know what I'm saying? And that's what they should do right here.
So this is what I took away from that, Scruff. Trey Lance is a $100 nasty, non-nutritious burger, and Brock Purdy is a cheap Safeway salad.
No, the point is this. The point is that Trey Lance was somebody that was a high draft pick. They put a lot of investment into getting him, and he didn't play well so far. But it's very rare. It's actually not. It's pretty common actually for a first round pick to bust. But you know what's pretty rare? Hitting on a 7th rounder at quarterback, especially the last pick in the draft.
So both you guys will start Purdy, no question, right? Going into week 1.
Purdy, no question. The only thing that's left is what are you gonna do with Lance? And ultimately, you would try to trade him for assets. But if there's no trade made available, and if shit does go down again and he's hurt, then what you gonna do? I wouldn't cut bait just yet, but I wouldn't just go and try to put him in because you put more money into him or whatever, more assets into him. Like I'm going with the commodity, bro. You hit.
Look, I think I'm in the minority here, but if it's me, if I'm John Lynch, if I'm in John Lynch's shoes, I start Purdy, and I wait for him to inevitably fail, and then I go ahead and play the guy that I drafted up for. This whole Sam Darnold, potentially QB2, cutting Trey Lance, all that talk is crazy, bro. Like that's insane. I can't see Trey Lance getting cut. And personally, I don't really see a future where the 49ers are a successful team where they don't have Trey Lance as QB1. I think
they made it to the championships basically last year
with Mr. Irrelevant, with Brock Purdy, right? Who came in and did the things that he needed to do and executed the offense and blah, blah, blah.
Team, they were literally a successful team last season with Brock Purdy. So how can you not see it?
Because I don't believe in Purdy still. I don't think that little run that he went on is something that's going to be sustainable. I don't think that Brock Purdy is the franchise guy. I don't think Brock Purdy is him. I just don't see that yet. Like, and I know that everyone wants to just give him that one season, but you know what? All the coaches have on him this year is a lot of tape. They've been watching a lot of film. They're going to make Brock do what he doesn't want to do, put him in uncomfortable situations, and we'll see if he can start a season and get them to the NFC Championship.
He has 2 things that Trey Lance does not have right now, right? 3 things actually. Bravado. Trey Lance don't have no bravado. Actually, 4 things now. Confidence. He has no confidence in playing the offense, right? The third thing is he doesn't have the momentum. Purdy has the momentum. He just came off of playing well the last season. And more importantly, he doesn't have the locker room, bro. That's the most important thing.
I honestly, I agree with you on those points. But I think that's more so because Trey Lance hasn't been supported the way that a QB drafted of his statue should have been. It goes back to
That's a
Bryce's
fact.
point in
That's a
the last segment about Anthony Richardson. So after Trey Lance's fuck up and then he gets hurt, it's like, yo, forget about him. You were just tossing him to the back. But I think if they gave a damn and if they actually gave Trey Lance a fair shot, that he'd outshine Brock Purdy. I believe that. I have no doubt in my mind that he would outshine Brock Purdy. And I do not I'm not saying Brock Purdy's going to be a bad quarterback. I think he's much better than where he was drafted. I think he's way better than Mr. Irrelevant. I think he could probably be a starting quarterback in the NFL, but I don't think he's some top tier guy who, it should just be no question that he's better than the guy that you traded up to get in the first place. To me, that is asinine.
Rome, I think the more I hear you talk about this, and I do agree with some of the points you're making, and I think you agree with this point. As good as Purdy's been, his ceiling is nowhere near Trey Lance's. And that's what it comes down to. And you're not going to get Trey Lance to reach his ceiling by him sitting on the bench. You know what I mean? So it's like maybe they're best served to get rid of Trey Lance, bro, because at this rate, he'll never reach his ceiling. And that's that's the biggest issue with Trey Lance right now. He needs time, bro. He needs experience. He needs reps. He needs to be on a bad team, bro. He needs to be on a 1-2 win team that doesn't matter with no expectations.
That's what I said. Just like a CJ Stroud, like on a bad team, like he gonna have an opportunity to get his reps and make.
Well, there'll be a few bad teams out there. So let's throw this little what if scenario out there. Let's say he stays on the 49ers roster. Atlanta struggles. Is that a good trade partner? What will be a good destination for Trey Lance if it doesn't pan out in San Fran?
It's hard to say what would be a good destination, but it's like, Trey Lance was taken with the 2nd overall pick by a team that was ranked in the top 10 of the league. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the contrast there. Like if you're a top 10 team in the league, you are stupid for trading up for a quarterback. Like you're stupid. You're stupid, bro. If you're a top 5, let's say you're a top 5 to 7 team in the NFL, you have no bit. That's why I said. That's what my first statement was. The Niners had no business drafting a quarterback. They had no business drafting in the top 5. They had no business drafting a quarterback in the top 5 because everybody knows what comes along with that, right? And the reason they shied away from the guy they really wanted, who was Mac Jones. So they didn't want to look stupid and take the guy with a low ceiling if they were going to draft top 5. So they kind of shot themselves in the foot with that. You know what I'm saying? But like they had no business doing that, bro. If they was going to trade the top 5, they should have took a damn who else was out there? Kayvon Thibodeau and put him across from Bosa. You know what I'm saying? Whoever else was out that year is who they should have taken, bro. But they wanted to get cute and they wanted to take the guy with the high ceiling. And Kyle Shanahan thought he was smarter than everybody and could have get him adjusted quicker, but that's not how it works, bro. And Shanahan knows that's not how it works. You know why he knows that? Because he had RG3, bro. So he already knows how that shit goes, bro. I
don't think Kyle really wanted him.
Maybe not, but he knows how it goes, bro. He knows how it goes, bro. Which is why when Trey Lance wasn't fitting the bill he wanted him to or he needed him to, he was so quick to get rid of him because Kyle's been through this before, bro. He's been through this with RG. He knows what this looks like. It takes time, and that's the biggest problem, bro. You top 5 in the league. Why are you trading up for a quarterback? Go get you a vet. Like, go get somebody else that knows the game. That was an overall mistake by the 49ers, and now they're going to go roll with the 7th round pick. And I like Purdy. I like his moxie. I like the confidence he plays with, bro. But I don't see he doesn't give me Drew Brees, bro. I don't see Drew Brees like some people are trying to sell him as. I don't see that. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, he's not even close to Drew Brees.
I don't see that. I don't see that out of him.
We'll probably get more into Purdy when we have the big NFL show, and when we talk just the overall picture of the NFC. But I don't see what a lot of people see in Brock Purdy, as I stated. And I know the Niners had a tough season before they drafted Trey Lance, but I hear you though, Bryce. They definitely were a top talented team who probably would have been better off going after a veteran QB. And I say that to transition into our next topic because they probably a top tier veteran, I should say. one of the likes of Aaron Rodgers, similar to what the Jets did. So let's go ahead and transition into the Jets, because there's a team who got a lot of talent, on both offense and defense, and they did it the right way. They got some young talent. They drafted well. Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson, Hall, a lot of young talent, and they just signed Dalvin Cook. So all that plus the addition of Aaron Rodgers, who many consider to be the greatest passer in the NFL. So the sky is the limit for the Jets. So what are y'all's thoughts on the Jets? They're clearly the offseason champions. Got put on Hard Knocks. I mean, are we giving the Super Bowl trophy right now or what?
Nah. I mean, you gotta play the game, bro, regardless. But I'm giving them the offseason trophy, if that means anything. I'm liking the moves. You know what I'm saying? They picked up Aaron Rodgers. Feel me? To add to their young core. Feel me? They have a number one receiver that could potentially be one of the best receivers in the league. They got some of his best buddies. Feel me? They could have did a better job on the O-line, but the running game about to be crazy. Because you got Breece Hall, who is a game changer. And you got Dalvin Cook, who is an all-pro. In addition to a very good defense, a young defense. So, I mean, they're going to be around. They're going to be in the playoffs. The only thing left now is to play ball.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy they got Dalvin Cook. I mean, Dalvin Cook even being a free agent is a whole nother topic, because he's a top tier running back, probably top 5 running back. They just went to the Jets. And they have a young guy in Breece Hall who is a dog in his own right. So, I mean, they potentially have 2 top 10 running backs with Aaron Rodgers and potentially a top 10 wide receiver with Garrett Wilson. So, Bryce, again, should we just give him the Super Bowl trophy now, or?
Hell nah, you shouldn't get no Super Bowl trophy, man. We've seen this happen before, bro. I'm not playing this super team game no more. Now, do I think the Jets got something brewing? Possibly, but it's like it's all still got to mesh, bro. Like it's all still got to mesh. It's like the what was it called when all the Power Rangers had their little Megazords and they formed into that one big ass monster Megazord. You feel me? Like all those pieces have to mesh in properly, and if it doesn't, you can have a dog at running back and a dog at receiver and a dog at quarterback. But if there's no chemistry and it don't work. So it looks good. It looks good right now, and I think it's got potential. But I don't rest my head on potential, bro. I got to see it work, and it could work though. I give the Jets. I give them. I think they can get 9 wins this year, easy. 10-win season. I think that means they probably 10-win season. I'll give the Jets 10 wins this year, but Super Bowl, nah, I ain't going that far, bro.
Well,
I mean,
we got our. Go ahead, Scott.
I can see them win the Super Bowl, but I'm not gonna give it to them yet. Ultimately, they're in the mix of what I would say is 4 or 5 teams that could really win the AFC, being the Chiefs, the Jets, the Bills, the Ravens, and I'm missing somebody, but that's pretty much it.
I give the Jets a 0% chance to win the AFC.
Well, look, we got the prediction show coming up, so I don't want to ask y'all who's going to win the AFC East, but we do got the Bills and the Jets on the first Monday night game of the NFL season. That's in New York, so that's going to be a huge primetime game. I'm gonna ask y'all right now, man. Who do y'all got Week 1 Bills Jets?
Got the Jets.
You know what? That's the pride of game the Jets win, because that's the game where they're gonna catch everybody loafing. You know what I'm saying? No one knows what they about to be about. No one knows what they're going to look like. No one knows that scheme going to look like. If they mess around and blow the Bills out 35-21, they'll be them 35-21. Well, guess what happens when they play that second time? The Bills going to whip that ass, boy. The Jets going to be a 9-10 win team, and the Bills going to be 12-13 wins, bro, because the shit don't work like that, bro. Football don't work like basketball, where you just get 5 guys, you throw them together, and all of a sudden they're a great team.
Yeah, that's
bro.
facts.
Culture matters, chemistry matters.
It's not just that though, bro. It's not they just threw some guys together, bro. They picked up Aaron Rodgers, put him with the offensive coordinator that he already knows the offense with. Then he brought in a couple of his favorite targets, and he brought in a stacked running game.
Which favorite targets did he bring in?
Alan
Hey,
Lazard.
they got and
Alan
Cobb too,
Lazard
right?
didn't do shit when he was with Aaron Rodgers the first time, bro. Alan Lazard.
Shit,
All right.
Alan
That's
Lazard
your favorite
was all
target? All
He
right,
was all
man. I remember Alan Lazard dropping passes left and right, wide open. You know what? You know who was the guy last year? Romeo Doubs was the guy to start the season. I don't want to hear that, bro. Listen, man. Listen. I'm going to tell you right now, bro. The Jets are going to take some time. Now, maybe after this first season, if Aaron Rodgers comes back and runs it back, I may have to change my tone on this. But it takes time in the league, bro. Okay, yeah, Aaron Rodgers knows the playbook, but does the offensive line? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. This shit ain't built overnight in the NFL. And when it starts being built overnight in the NFL, that's when they change the game completely by that time.
No, I agree with you, Bryce, and that's why I think the Bills are going to run through the Jets on that first Monday Night Football game, and I think it's going to be a bit of a panic in New York, man. I think people are going to freak out because, like you're saying, chemistry, playing together, all that kind of stuff, man. That ain't something that you can just snap your fingers and it's all good. And let's not forget that the Bills are going to come out here hungry, bro. Like, it's their division, number one. And they're looking to get past the Chiefs. They're looking to get to the Super Bowl. They're not thinking about Aaron Rodgers coming in here and letting him just take over. So it's not going to just be some, you know what I mean, like, oh, we got a lot of talent and we got Aaron Rodgers' best friend, so we're going to win on Monday night. Like, the Bills ain't trying to hear none of that. They ain't trying to hear none of that. So I actually got the Bills week 1.
Bro, you hyping up the Bills, bro. The Bills ain't did a goddamn thing, bro. They choked in every situation that they had when the push come to shove and the game's on the line. Know one thing: the Bills are gonna blow it, bro.
Yeah, I'm not picking them in the playoffs. I'm not a Josh Allen guy. You guys were the ones that told me he was 1B to Pat Mahomes is 1A. But I know damn well he's not about to just fold to some old man Aaron Rodgers. I know that much.
Wait. Why is Josh Allen catching all these strays, bro? And what I say, the Jets are 9-10 win team at best. Vegas got them at 9. Vegas got them at 9.5. All right. If you're smart, you're betting the under. If you're smart, you're betting the under on the Jets 9.5. You heard it here first. You bet that over, you're crazy.
I put a dub on the over right now, B. Throw that on the Washington bet too. You was playing on that.
Nah, I'm playing odds. I'm playing odds on that. Over under. If you smart money is on the under, bro. Like, if you playing the over, you just getting caught up in the hype of Aaron Rodgers. All right. How many wins did the Packers have last year?
Not enough to get in the playoffs.
How many wins did the Packers have last year, Scruff?
They just missed.
I think wasn't it like 8 or 9, bro? Like
8 or 9.
You think he's gonna do better with a better roster, but we'll see.
You think he'll do better in the same offense he was in last year?
But better roster, tougher division.
Last year, bro. The Jets won 9 last year with Zach Wilson and Mike White at quarterback, bro.
All right, how many games did the Packers win?
9.
With Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. They won 8 games. I was
gonna say, I think they needed 9.
They won 8 games, bro. Stop it, bro. Like, I love Aaron Rodgers for what he's done in the league, bro. But I'm not about to sit here and act like Aaron Rodgers going to the Jets turns him into a Super Bowl contender like Scruff feeling over here. That shit is crazy.
Nah, it's not crazy actually. But you know what? I know how Rome is because Rome, that's just one of his favorite hills. He dug up that hill and planted it this sometime this summer, or was it last year when he was hating on Aaron Rodgers because he was saying he was being a diva, but he wasn't being a diva. You had bad information, Rome, because you was reading that goddamn local paper.
Okay. So let's recap everything that Scruff just said real quick. So Rome was hating on Rodgers for being a diva. That is correct. What was said diva behavior? Rodgers didn't want to show up, right? Held the Packers in limbo, didn't know if he was going to retire, didn't go practice with the rookies, right? Didn't go get no chemistry, didn't do any team building, any of that. And what happened? What happened come December? It took them a long time to get any chemistry going, anything going, tried to make a push towards the end, and they came up short. They came up short.
Nah, you going back.
Aaron Rodgers is done. I am going back. I'm going back to when I said I'm going back to when I said Aaron Rodgers is done. It's over. It's over. Where's the fork? I meant to have a little toy fork. I got my son's little kitchen over here. Put a fork in Rodgers, bruh. He's done. This move to the Jets isn't revitalizing anything. Enjoy it.
He Brett Favre all over again, boy. He living that Brett Favre life, man. He the Jets.
Hopefully he doesn't follow Brett Favre after football, though.
Nah, listen, Rome. I'm talking about this offseason.
When you was mad at him about the way that he was handling the situation with the Packers front office, when in reality they was playing with that man. You feel me? They wasn't trying to have him back.
Bro.
Feel me? He was trying to find his way back to football. Feel me? And Rome was hating on him. And he had to retract his statement. He had to eat glass.
Retract those statements, man. Aaron Rodgers is the biggest. He's the biggest diva in the NFL right now, by far. By far the biggest diva. By far the biggest diva. He's pulling some James Harden. That's what he's doing. I was
just thinking, boy.
He's pulling some James Harden.
But Scrub hate Harden though. You know what I'm saying? But he love Aaron Rodgers. I wonder why. What's the difference? I can only think of one.
What's the difference?
I can't think of many differences, bro. I don't know. I think it's a Philly thing. Because how you hate James Harden, but you loving Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because Aaron Rodgers was under contract and he requested the trade and then he moved on. James Harden, bro, he was a free agent. And then he opted in to a contract and then requested out. How you going?
So basically, what you're telling me, he was in a contract and then he requested out, right? That's what you're telling me. So it's the same thing.
No. Aaron Rodgers was on a contract that he signed many years ago. James Harden.
Get out of here, bro.
You got to say there's a time limit. There's a time limit on it.
James Harden. Time limit, bro. That's crazy, bro. That's like
that's how long you've been on the contract.
That's like
wait. Let me ask you this question. You get in a relationship. You get in a relationship. It's an abusive relationship. You got to wait it out. So if a girl gets in a relationship and it's an abusive relationship, she's getting beat up. She needs to wait it out. If it's only a year, she can't leave yet. She got to wait 3 or 4 years to leave, huh? That's what you're telling me?
That's a crazy.
It's a time limit? It's a time limit on the contract? Come on, bro.
Nah. I don't like what I don't like the message you try.
All I'm saying is, how you gonna limit it to time, bro? Your man's in the contract.
I'm not talking about he signed a contract last year and he's trying to get out of it this year. I'm talking about they literally announced that he opted into his contract. 2 minutes later, they say he was trying to get traded, bro. They don't do that. If you didn't want to be on the team, bro, you could have just not picked up your option. You were already a free agent. You would have been free. But now he's saying, let me out. Sign yourself to a 1-year deal and then you let me out. What you talking about, bro?
I hear you with the Harden shit though, Scruff, because he did. That is like the ultimate flip flop. Like my man didn't need to opt back in and then come back and say that the GM is a liar and he'll never be on an organization with that man again. Like to come out and say what James Harden said is next level. But I feel the same way about Aaron Rodgers.
The same thing with the Packers,
I
he signed
feel the same way.
Like a year ago, told the Packers he was staying. And then he wanted out, and now he's on the Jets.
Nah. This is different. This would have been like the equivalent of Aaron Rodgers being like, "Hey guys, I'm gonna go ahead and come back for a year."
That's what he did.
Like, nah, I wouldn't get traded,
bro. That's what he did though. He signed the contract with the Packers for 2 more years, a 2-year extension, just like James Harden.
That was last year though.
And they just didn't trade him though, but he wanted to go last year. He wanted to go.
That's why he didn't contract and then he wanted out, bro.
He didn't opt into this contract this year.
But look, Scrub, that's why I got on Rodgers the way I got on him last offseason. Because he wanted to get traded. They didn't trade him. So then, like a diva, he didn't even go practice with the receivers. You're supposed to be a Hall of Fame level quarterback. You're supposed to be the leader. You got new rookie receivers coming in here, and you won't go throw with them? Like, that's ridiculous. You should be throwing all summer building chemistry with them. And then you see what happens in December and in the fall, in the winter, when it's time to put up or shut up, and Rodgers is a game short to be in the playoffs. Because he's not a wizard, you know what I mean? Like he's not gonna just snap his fingers and get it done, and it's not gonna matter that he's with Garrett Wilson and Dalvin Cook and all them boys this season either.
So Rodgers is a game short, not the team. The fuck we talking about?
Yeah, Rodgers is a game short.
Nah, bro, he missed games. He got hurt in that time, and there's a whole team, if I'm not mistaken. So like, don't be trying to put.
Well, maybe if you commit yourself in the offseason and you don't take darkness retreats and sit in the dark for however long and miss out on mini camp or whatever the hell he be doing. I don't know. Maybe if you don't lie to your organization and say you're immunized when you know what I'm saying, you could just say you ain't got the shot. maybe you don't build ill will towards people like that. But hey, man. Aaron Rodgers gets away with a lot, as his predecessor also did.
Man, them boys are the exact. Rodgers and
I don't think the comparisons is fair, and I think it's unwarranted. And
Rodgers might have did worse. All right, that's the wild thing. What Rodgers did might have been worse than what Harden did. That's what I'm gonna say.
Oh, I thought you say worse than Brett Favre.
What Rodgers did might very well be worse than what Harden did. We'll see. Yet to be seen, but we'll see. We'll see, bro.
Nah, bro. Because with all due respect, bro, to Aaron Rodgers versus James Harden requested his way out of many teams. Houston with the fat suit, Brooklyn with everything he did there, and now Philadelphia being the third team.
So whose fault is that then? If he's done it twice and Philly gives him a contract, then that's on Philly, bro. Right.
Yeah. I'm not talking about it being on Philly or on Harden. I'm just trying. I will talk. We can talk about that in another second. But I'm just talking about Aaron Rodgers because Aaron Rodgers is loyal to that team for a long time, many years, his whole career. So he's nothing like James Harden in that aspect.
Yeah, it's easy.
I'll give you that.
30 million. It's easy to be loyal to getting $30 million a year. All right, I'll be loyal. I'll be loyal with $30 million a year.
Not as easy as you would think, Bryce. Man, I've been in the 35.
Give me $30 million. I'll show you how easy it is.
My man opted in the $35 million, and then he said he wanted to trade. He called that man a liar in front of people that hate him. You know,
you know why? You know why? Because that man's probably a liar. Your man's probably a liar.
I tell you why, bro. And here's my hot take prediction. James Harden is gonna sign with the Shanghai Sharks. He's gonna be with the Guangdong Tigers. He gonna take the China money because they love him over there, and he need to stay the fuck over there and not come back to Philly or the NBA because nobody wants.
Yeah, let's get into James Harden, man, because James Harden gets so much hate from y'all in the group chat, boy. The way y'all hate James Harden, man, I would think that James Harden, I don't know, like he stole one of y'all chicks or something back in the day. I don't know, bro. I
don't even hate James Harden, man. This is my beef with James Harden.
I'm talking about T, and I'm talking about my boy Scrib, man. Yeah, Scrib, I'm calling you out, guy.
This is my beef with him
so much, man. Like, what's up with that, yo? What's up with it?
The thing with James Harden, man, is to me, he represents everything that's wrong with the movement that you coined on this show, and that's power to the players. He represents everything that could go wrong with that movement, everything that people would want to use to not give power to the players. You could point the finger at James Harden. Scruff said it a few minutes ago when he got out of Houston, the fat suit. Like, are you serious right now? Are you serious? This man is hopping from team to team, max contract to max contract, and then just getting fat to go wherever he wants to go. Just going on in front of crowds and saying the GM's a liar. He's a liar. I don't want to ever be on an organization with him again. Like, James Harden has a ton of audacity to run around and do these things and say these things for a guy who routinely folds in the playoffs. Routinely. Like, death, taxes, and James Harden ain't gonna do shit in the playoffs. That is a guarantee every year. Like, I don't know why anybody, but personally, Bryce, your belief in him it to me is ridiculous. You're saying everybody throwing shade on him is crazy. I can't find a reason to not throw shade on the guy when he does nothing in the playoffs. Maybe if he went on one crazy run in the playoffs, got to the finals, and maybe got a ring or something happened to him where whatever he ran into a juggernaut. But every year in the playoffs, we can count on James Harden just shrinking into nothing. So I don't get it.
Yeah, whatever, man. Y'all just be hating on. All right, okay, fine. Rome, you make a good point. Has he done enough to be forgiven for all of his sins? No, but you know what? Nobody has. All right, nobody's done enough to be forgiven for all their sins, man. James Harden, to me, is the best two guard of this generation, and I need him to start. Yes, he is. Yes, he is, bro. Yes, he is, bro. Oh, let me first off, before I get to the nonsense you're talking about, let me finish. All right. James Harden is the best two guard of this generation, bro.
He's not better than
let me finish, my boy. The most prolific scorer of this generation. All right. In my opinion, a top 5 player of this generation, bro. And everybody just acting like this is not facts now. You know why? You know why they're acting like that, Ron? Because the man decided to sacrifice. This is why you don't sacrifice. This is why. Because right now, people look at Dame Lillard in higher regard than they do James Harden, which is crazy. If James Harden would have just stayed in Houston, averaged 34 for 6 more years, y'all would love him right now. Y'all would talk about him like he's Dame and how Houston just done him so dirty and how. But you know what? The man decided to sacrifice to do what? To win a title, bro, because he understood how everybody looks at one title. Everybody, same thing KD did. You get one title, everybody loves it. So he tried to make that sacrifice. He tried to go to teams that he would have to, fall back a little bit, for the greater good. And guess what? The shit didn't work out. So you know what my man like now? You know what my man on now? Give me my own team again. I think that's how James feeling again. Give me my own damn team, bro. Because this sacrificing shit is for the birds.
Here's the problem with that, Bryce.
When you do that and you fuck around with your teams, you switch teams, and you drag yourself off 3 different teams, and you do all this, and you do diminish your value. You feel me? You do hurt your legacy. You do a lot of things. You feel me? It's like the shorty that done been on the block. She was out here prostituting and shit. Now she came back. It ain't the same shorty no more, homeboy. It ain't the same shorty no more, homeboy. It ain't the same. You got the miles on you. You got the tape. You're smelling like the streets. Versus Dame Lillard, bro. He was out here trying to just win and be loyal and shit. I'll be damned if they would let James Harden go for Dame Lillard in the trade. I'll be the happiest man on earth. But nobody's doing that, bro. You know why? Because James Harden's value kept going down. It went down and down.
But the reason it went down is because he sacrificed, bro.
Last time he got traded for a man that was scared to play basketball, bro. So his trade value was low.
His trade value went down because he sacrificed, bro. That's my point.
Bryce, all right, bro. It's crazy. It's crazy to say that James Harden sacrificed when he scored like fucking 5 points in the fucking last playoff game, bro. Like it's crazy to say that he sacrificed.
Embiid had 15 the same game, bro.
Bro,
the MVP had 15.
Bro, do we have to go back through all of Harden's playoff failures? He comes up short every year. Bro, this is a regular thing, bro.
No, he doesn't. Game 1, guess what happened? When Embiid was down, Embiid was hurt like he always hurt in game 1. And you know what James Harden did to the Celtics? He gave him 45 and put the Sixers up 1-0. And you know what Scruff came on this show and said? Hold up, I'm about to jog y'all memory. You know what Scruff came on this show and said? You remember what you said, Scruff? You remember what you said after James Harden gave him 45 and gave y'all that 1-0 lead against the Celtics?
Scruff's flip-flopping. Scruff's flip-flopping doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
Scruff's opinion flip-flopping doesn't change James Harden.
You know what Scruff does when he flip-flops? He just shrugs his shoulders, man. Yeah, bro. I'm not standing for that, bro. I'm not standing for that because I was there when he gave him 45 without Embiid, bro. You know what I'm saying? So like we could say we want about Harden. Has his career been perfect? No, but he sacrificed, bro. Anytime you go to play with Kyrie and KD on the same team, and you're a 35, 40-point scorer, you average 35. You go to play with Kyrie and KD.
You call that you call that sacrifice. I call that being lazy. I call it not wanting to be the guy.
Okay, fine.
I call it an excuse for when you fail.
That's not. Listen to it this way. When Bosh went to the Heat with Dwayne Wade and LeBron, did he sacrifice?
Bro,
no, because I didn't view Bosh's. I don't feel like that was a sacrifice. I feel like that was I feel like that was up for Bosh. Wade, you can say Wade sacrificed. Wade sacrificed.
You crazy, bro? Because Bosh.
Bosh sacrificed a lot. Bosh sacrificed a lot.
Nah, I don't think he sacrificed.
Nah, he did. He did. He was a much more integral part of the offense.
He was a star. But listen, Harden tried to do a similar move, bro. But the shit backfired, bro. It backfired. Bama's got hurt. Kyrie turned into a vigilante. You know what I'm saying? Like things was happening, bro. And that was out of my man's control. So you know what he did, bro? He could have requested a trade to the goddamn Indiana Pacers. But nah, he sacrificed again, bro, and went to a team that had a budding star when Joel Embiid, another team that Harden knew, I'm not going to be the number one. He made another sacrifice.
Bro, that's crazy. So we're calling linking up with other stars a sacrifice. So if I join the Justice League, I'm sacrificing. I go hang out with superpowered motherfuckers. That's a sacrifice.
Batman sacrifice. When he joined up with Superman, that's the ultimate sacrifice. Batman joined up with Superman. All right.
The first time when he got out of Houston, he got out and it was ugly, bro. At the second time when he got out at Brooklyn. At that point, he was going where he was accepted. At this point, no one wants him. That's because of the reputation that he's created over the last 3 years doing this shit to other teams. Why would another team want him so he can go ahead and do the same shit again next year?
Nah, another team couldn't afford him. Another team didn't have assets to get him, bro. Another team had assets to get him.
Give him up.
Nah.
If they wanted James Harden, they could have traded Paul George. They could have traded somebody of value. They were trying to get him for nobody.
Disagreed, bro. Ben Simmons, and at the time when Ben Simmons was trading with James Harden, you're talking about Ben Simmons at this moment. Ben Simmons was fresh off one little mistake that Philly overblown. That got overblown in Philly. It was just one mistake on a layup, bro. Like, it wasn't like we knew it. It wasn't like Ben Simmons was the press guy that he's turned into now. So don't act like he got traded for current Ben Simmons, bro. He got traded for a guy that still had all-star potential, a guy that you told me was LeBron-like and all that shit.
Here's the thing, though. I'm about to rehabilitate Ben Simmons, his public persona right now because Ben Simmons is not done. He's still the same player. He just got to get his shit back, bro.
All right, but my point is this, bro. James Harden, he's going to prove all y'all wrong, bro. Mark my words, bro. I'm banking on it. And I'm not saying he's going to win a championship, but what I am saying is, bro, he's going to force his way out of Philly. He's going to end up on a team that's, probably not that great, but he's going to be the number one option. He's going to start going crazy again, and everybody going to love him again. He's gonna be big game James once again.
I'll tell you what, man.
James Harden is never gonna win a championship.
All right, whatever, bro. That's like that. That's like to me. That's the most empty statement anybody can make, bro. This player is never gonna win a championship when only 6 teams in the last 15 seasons in the NBA have even won a championship. You know what? Hey, guess what? Joel Embiid is never gonna win a championship. I feel comfortable saying that too. So what, bro? That to me, that's the most empty claim you can make in the NBA, bro. Like, so-and-so's never going to win a championship, fine. Chris Paul's never going to win a championship, fine, bro. Whatever. You might be right. Maybe he never won a championship. But James Harden's one of the 75 greatest players ever played the game. In this generation, he's a top 5 player. In this generation, he's the best 2-guard in this generation, bro. And we can address that D-Wade shit you're talking about. Players put James Harden over D-Wade all time. You putting them over. I don't know how you can put D-Wade over James Harden this generation in the 2010s to 2020s. What the hell? What are you smoking? What have you been watching? What games have you seen? What
Motherfucking
MVP
Yo,
is Dwayne? What
I
MVP
agree.
is Dwayne
Look,
Wade?
look,
playoffs,
Bryce. I
playoffs,
agree with you.
championships.
Bro,
I agree with you with
who else won
Bryce's
championships?
with
Bruce
James Harden's
Brown won a
talent.
championship. So is he better than James Harden? Like, bro, I hate, bro. Don't tell me two LeBron chips makes Dwayne Wade better than James Harden in this generation, bro. Now, is Dwayne Wade all time better than James Harden? You can argue that. But in the 2010s and 2020s, miss me with that.
All of a sudden, the last 10 years is only a generation, bro. They played together. They was
Bro,
in the
I
same
said the
generation.
2010s. I literally said the 2010s. So I'm talking about from 2010 to 2020. James Harden is the best two guard. Dwayne Wade won 2 chips in 12 and 13 on the back of LeBron James.
Hey, I
He
tell
wasn't
you
even
what.
making first team All NBA on them chips.
Hey, I tell you what. With all due respect, give me Klay Thompson.
You crazy as hell, boy.
Bryce makes an excellent point with James Harden's talent. James Harden,
you crazy as hell.
Give me Klay Thompson.
You just. All right, give me Robert Horry. What are we talking about, man? Get out of here, bro. I don't want to hear none of that. Give me Robert Horry then, all right?
Look, James Harden as a talent is definitely as superior as Bryce is saying. I don't think there's any lies in any of that. But Scruff is on point too with this reputation that James Harden has got himself. He's earned himself. And I think that holds him back, man. I think there's no reason that you're as talented or as great as James Harden is, and a championship is that elusive. I feel like you should be able to
hold him back. Hey, bro, okay, hold on. Let's address this, right? Let's really look at the facts. James Harden had the Houston Rockets. What, a game? Wasn't a game away from the finals when Zaza? Who was it? Was it Zaza that made the dirty ass play? I can't remember who did it. I can't remember who did it, bro.
It really don't even matter, though.
All right. So he had them a game away, damn near a game away from the finals, right? Cool. Who was on that team, bro? You tell me. There's only one player you can be able to tell me, and that's Chris Paul, dog.
PJ Tucker.
Exactly, bro. Exactly, bro. Like, bro.
I don't disagree about James Harden. I don't disagree about the talent, bro.
Scoring 35 a night, bro? Like 35 a night? What are we talking about?
Hey, but you know what's the most resounding part of that whole story that you said
is you said if this happened and then that happened, but it didn't, bro. And ultimately, that's what what happens to you is ultimately what defines your legacy, bro. And what's defined James Harden's legacy, I can definitively say that he's pushed his way out of 3 teams and he's never won anything significant.
I think an MVP is pretty damn significant, bro.
In the playoffs, I'm not done.
I think MVP is pretty damn. And guess what? He played with Joel Embiid for the last 2 years, so that means Joel Embiid didn't win anything significant either, and he just won an MVP too. So if the MVP don't mean shit, then it don't mean shit to you. But
it don't mean shit. We've been saying that shit for years now.
I have never said that. I have never said.
You said this shit on the show.
I've never said MVP doesn't mean shit.
You said MVP doesn't mean what it used to mean and shit.
I've never said MVP doesn't mean shit. I said that Joel Embiid didn't deserve the MVP over Nikola Jokic. I also said
you said the MVP is a regular season award.
It is, bro. That's a fact.
Like, don't mean shit.
No, that's false. That doesn't mean it doesn't mean shit. It's a regular season award. They award it to the best player during the regular season. That makes it a regular season award. But there's I said the criteria.
So it's perfect for James Harden.
All right, 36 points a game, 36 a game. Yeah, all right. Name me how many players have done that? How many players
I have no shade on James Harden's talent, man. But the way that he goes about his business, I think he can clean that up a little bit. I think Scruff has excellent points on him forcing out his way out. Bryce, you're right, man. He did great in Houston. Honestly, I remember that year, and I remember rooting for him that year. But then the whole getting fat thing, the fat suit, whatever the hell it was. Like, why is it that it always seems to end poorly for James Harden, despite all that talent? I think that's the issue more so than what he actually gives you on the court. Because you're right, when it comes to talent on the court, James Harden's up there with the greatest.
It really only ended poorly in 2 spots, in my opinion. I don't think the net shit really ended poorly because everybody wanted out of there.
You can say that.
Everybody wanted out of there, bro. Like, come on now. But if you want to say the Rockets thing ended poorly, fine. If you want to say the Sixers thing ended poorly, fine. You know what's the common denominator in both? Daryl Morey. And James Harden just told you that man's a liar. But y'all don't want to believe Harden.
Nah, I think that's honestly the more interesting conversation, and we'll probably have to get in that another time. But the beef between him and the GM seems to be different because I can't remember too many players, and I know we mentioned Aaron Rodgers, but it's rare that you see a player just come out and name drop the GM in that manner and say that he flat out doesn't trust him and never wants to work with the
Call
guy
that man a
again.
liar, bro.
Let me
So
say one more
and
thing.
and said it twice to reiterate.
Come on,
Let me say
bro.
one
Like,
more
but y'all
thing,
don't want to
though.
hear that. Y'all don't want to hear
Nah,
that.
I do wanna hear
y'all
it.
don't give into the media narratives, bro. How they paint people. They don't give into those media narratives, bro.
I'm
Don't
not.
do
Let me say one more thing. Though. Ultimately, this whole shit,
though, you know who's to blame for this whole shit more than anybody is Daryl Morey and the Sixers organization. So ultimately, this whole shit, Harden did some bullshit, whatever. But ultimately, the Sixers just did the fuck shit in the first place. Is when you decided to get in bed with some motherfucker with that reputation. Now you fuck too, and that's what happened, bro. Because the Sixers could have took a lot of trades. They could have took the trade for Tyrese Halliburton. I would have been very happy with that trade right now. Feel me? We could have took the trade, for Sabonis. We could have took a lot of different trades, bro. We could have took the CJ McCollum trade. You know what I'm saying? That would have been looking real good right now, bro. But we took James Harden, bro. We took a volatile player with a bad reputation, and now we paying for it, bro. So honestly, I don't feel bad for the Sixers. I feel like they really got themselves in this situation with their own decisions.
I don't think James Harden is a quote unquote volatile player, bro. I don't believe that narrative, bro.
He's the definition of a volatile player. Volatile means it's unpredictable, meaning it could go up, they can go down, and then go up, and they can go down.
No, that makes total sense because he could be one game from the finals one day and 75 extra pounds the next. So
volatile.
Yeah, I think like I said, I think there's a common denominator in that, and I think it's Daryl Morey. And your man,
that is.
And your man wasn't wearing a fat suit. He got chubby, bro. But your man just told you. You know why he got chubby? Because he wasn't reporting. Because Daryl Morey was lying to his ass, bro. He told you Daryl Morey was a liar, bro. But nobody wants to believe that. Nobody wants to believe that shit. Nobody wants to believe that.
Honestly,
he got fat because another man was lying to him.
I ain't gonna hold you, bro.
For all I care, bro. He wasn't showing up. He was getting lit, bro. He said F it.
I'm gonna tell you
said F it. You ain't never had a job and said F it.
Oh, I said F it Monday through Friday.
Exactly.
Like this though, bro.
They could fire Daryl Morey for all I care, and I really don't care. And they could trade James Harden for a bag of peanuts. I'm good, bro. I'm not rocking with none of them motherfuckers.
Yeah, man. I know them Philly fans are hurt about this. This can't be fun for Philly. We'll definitely keep track of the Harden situation. I'm sure whatever happens, maybe it works out. If they patch it up, they go out to dinner. Scruff will be on here talking about "I told you so," James Harden, Philly forever. So
he was just saying that 3 weeks ago, man. You can't listen to what Scruff said. He was just saying that 3 weeks ago. He hit me in the chat like, "Told you, Bryce, we keeping James Harden."
We definitely said that live on the show. Y'all can go back a couple weeks and listen to Scruff talk about, "Oh man, James Harden."
You're right though. Because
he gonna do wrong. He gonna come on here the next week and he gonna do this wrong.
No, but he
lied. All he gonna do to say.
Nah, but he lied though. No, but he lied though. He said he was going. He signed a 1-year deal to return to the 76ers. He lied.
Bro, he just told you who lied. He just told you who lied, bro. He just
told you. They both lied.
Get out of here, man.
They both lied.
Your man scrubbed 3 weeks. It was all good 3 weeks ago. Crazy how things change, boy. They all lied. Everybody lying to Scruff. Everybody lying, man.
They all
accept it, bro. Just accept it. You're easily swayed by the. You can say everything you want about my man Rome, you know what I'm saying? But you're easily swayed by the media narratives, all right?
The local media.
You're easily swayed by the local media narratives, all right, my boy? Hey, yo, the local media narratives be swaying you. I'm telling you, bro. Don't let Bleacher Report and ESPN and them dun alerts. Don't let them sway you. Stick to your guns, man. 3 weeks ago, you were still 11 Harden. Don't give up on him.
I'm not swayed by anything other than the fact that we can't get shit for him and he not trying to play basketball, bro.
No, you're not trying to play basketball for y'all because your GM is a liar, bro.
Motherfucker, that's the same thing to me.
All right, man. So let's y'all got anything else y'all want to say about James Harden before we move on?
Yeah,
Hey, shout out my guy James Harden, man. Scrub loved him 3 weeks ago. Now it's fuck him. That's crazy, bro. But this is how quick they turn on you. I'm telling y'all right now, bro. James Harden will have a better season in the NBA than Aaron Rodgers will in the NFL. That's my
I don't know how we measure that.
That's my bet.
Hey, I think I agree with that one. I think I agree with that one too,
Shout
man.
out to James, man. We got anything else? We got anything else for tonight, man?
Nah, y'all know how we finish every show, man. Unless y'all got anything y'all want to get off right quick.
Nah.
I'm good.
All right, yeah, y'all know what it is.